Hey, this is Ben Solomon and welcome to this episode of the Techno Leadership Show. In this episode, we are going to be talking about how to deal with people more effectively. So, if we are in any role in technology, whether it's a junior professional or senior executive, dealing with people is an important part of what we do. Unless you're lucky, blessed, whatever it might be, enough to be in a role where you can pretty much do things on your own. Like I suppose in some cases, industries like electronics engineering, you could be in a back office workshop doing your job without being affected. Yes, in IT and that sort of side, you can, if you're a developer, be in an office and do your own work. And there are other roles, even in the infrastructure side of things. If you're a server admin, system admin who doesn't have, in a big team, who has a help desk that's separate, in a lot of cases you don't have to deal a lot with people. But regardless, at some point we have to deal with people. It's the nature of humanity, nature of how the world's structured. So improving our effectiveness with how we communicate with people, how we deal with people, is a very important part of what we do, and to enhance our life as well. So one of the things that I've found useful is to try and understand the other person's viewpoint. Now, we may not agree with that. We can agree to disagree, and you don't have to justify why someone's wrong or anything like that. But if you can have the little patience and the ability to kind of step back a little bit, and when they say they don't like X or Y, whatever that might be, the ability to step back and question and go, oh, why do you like this or why do you not like that? For example, personally, I've done a lot of research in the diet and health side of things, and I find that the vegan side of things doesn't make sense to me. But it seems to work for some people, whether it's just a short-term thing or it continues to work for them in the long term, I don't know. But from the research I've done, around 7 to 10 years, most people seem to have some issues with it. So let's not go into the diet thing right now. But so that's the side of things. Whereas I tend to eat more in the paleo primal style eating, occasionally going keto, carnivore. That works better for me. And so I don't go out preaching to people saying, you have to, what you're doing is wrong and what I'm doing is right. I don't, because with the way our genetics work and with the way each of our bodies uniquely process what we eat, yes, some things are not as good for all of us, like having too much sugar is not good for all of us. For me to preach that veganism is wrong, or paleo or primal or carnivore or keto is the way to do it, is not the be all end all. Because at the end of the day, keto may not work for a certain person. And for them, maybe vegetarianism works better. Maybe veganism works better. Who knows? So it's not up to us to pretty much push our beliefs and understanding of the world on them. So when there was a member of staff in one of the organizations that I was working in, so we got talking, and she said to me, oh, look, I can't eat whatever we were having for morning tea in like a staff setting. And I was like, I was just curious, so do you do any specific diet that, or do you have any other religious reasons that you avoided? And so she sort of went, no, look, it's because I'm vegan. I used to have health issues. I've gone vegan and it's all cleared off. I'm doing well. Fantastic. I asked her a bit more about her stance around it, and for her it was more around health than around the ethics and all of that. Well, the ethics probably came as a secondary thing, but more as a thing around health and what it did for her in that 2 to 3 year period that she'd been on that eating lifestyle, diet, whatever you want to call it. But if you look at what happens in a lot of forums, whether it's vegan forums, whether it's carnivore forums, whether it's keto forums, you have all this bashing going on. And there is a tendency when we, in our minds, believe that what we know and understand is the ultimate truth, to force that on others. Similarly, in the technology, especially IT sort of field, there's a acronym that goes, the problem exists between keyboard and chair. The end user is the problem. And look, a lot of issues probably are caused by the end user not understanding how to use the system and all of that sort of thing. But accusing them of that is not going to make your life easier. So if you want to deal with them effectively, you need to find out what they're trying to do, how they're doing it, and then rather than telling them, and I've seen this happen like in front of me, I've seen staff, technology staff telling other non-technical staff, that's wrong, you don't do it that way, you do it this way. And I'm like, ooh, calm down, step back, try to understand why they're doing what they're doing, and then use it as a soft suggestion, saying, look, the reason you're getting the result that you're getting is because you're doing this way. The better way to do it is doing it this way. And that's just softening. It's just communication skills, just the kind of thing that, most people want to be dealt with. Me personally, I'd rather someone, tell me that I'm wrong and get on with it. But I think people like the kind of personality that accepts that kind of abrupt, this is wrong, this is right, and these are the reasons why, it's probably about maybe 5 to 10% of the whole population. So we can't deal with people in that sort of manner. We've got to look at it from their perspective. Where are they going? What is the result they're trying to accomplish? How are they going about it? And then go, oh, look, it appears that what you're doing is, you might know for 100% sure that it is the reason that something's wrong. But the moment you make them feel bad is when you lose respect. And the moment you lose respect, and which is where a lot of technical staff are looked on as, oh, those nerds sitting in the corner who don't know how to deal with humans, is because of this. So, especially front-facing help desk, engineering support, technical support staff, and obviously as you go up in every level, you're dealing with different people. You're dealing with vendors, you're dealing with contractors, you're dealing with your staff. All that again comes back to people. And being abrupt and going, no, this is not how you do it, is going to turn people off. It's going to make them not respect you, even though you know exactly what you're doing. And when you lose respect, you lose the kind of trust that comes with that respect. So they don't trust you, they don't trust your opinion, they don't trust your solution. All that sort of thing happens. And then that's where frustration happens for technical staff members. I've seen that time and time again in close to 20 years of working in the field. I've seen it happen. and I see a lot of it happen in Reddit subreddits that are more IT, technology, and engineering stuff. And I see it in Facebook groups, LinkedIn groups, all these places where engineers and technologists congregate. It comes up. And that's because we don't look at things from the perspective of our clients, the person that we're helping or helping resolve an issue or dealing with. Whether that's and if it's a vendor, again, telling them, I need this fixed right now is not the right way to go about it, because that person that you're speaking to is probably an account manager at the vendor side, and they don't have technical knowledge, and they have probably 50 to 100 customers like yourself, some probably much bigger than you, who spend multiple millions per year with them, that they have to deal with. And for all of them, they've got to prioritize based on impact, and based on SLAs, based on everything else. So having a go at them is not going to make any difference. Well, it might actually make a negative difference to you, because they'd be like, I don't want to speak to this person. I'm going to put them at the bottom of the pile. That's not what you want to end up doing. So when you're going to a vendor, going to an executive leader, going to a contractor for a particular reason, look at it from their perspective. If they say, I can't do it this way, ask them, okay, why do you say that you can't do it this way? And how can you do it? And then find a way to meet in the middle, negotiate, and find a solution that works for both of you. Especially if you want to have a long-term relationship, and if you're working in a company and you hope to be there for a certain period of time, you're going to be dealing with the same people almost on a regular basis. And if you don't have that mutual respect where you can, look at each other and rationally deal with things, it becomes difficult. So yeah, looking at things from the end user's perspective, the person that you're speaking's perspective, is going to be useful in all aspects of your life, whether it's at work or relationships out of work. And then when you talk to them, also try to understand why they've reached certain conclusions. Conclusions can come from, cultural backgrounds. It can come from, their lineage, parenting, the environment that they were brought up in, all of those sort of things. Some of the conclusions that I've been able to come up in my life is not because, this super intelligent person or anything like that. No, it's because I'm of South Indian origin. My parents are from South India, but I was born and brought up in the Middle East. And living in the Middle East, I had the opportunity to live amongst the Arabs, Chinese, American, British, Filipino, like people from multiple cultures. That gave me a significantly open-minded view of the world. It gave me a grounding, a foundation that is very difficult to get, which meant no matter who I dealt with, I naturally had this tendency to sort of try and understand them from where they're coming from. And that helped build relationships naturally beyond what I would have been able to if I was, born and bred in South India and had never left and then moved to Australia. I'd have probably been stuck in a little bubble and wouldn't have become who I am today. And if you're living in a Western society, most countries have, multicultural life now. So even if, you don't have a lot of friends from different cultures, but you have people at work, be curious. You don't have to become friends, but be curious about them. Help them, help yourself understand how they reach certain conclusions, in how they go about doing things, how they react to certain things, all of those things. Try to look at it from their perspective. You may not agree with their perspective, but their perspective, their beliefs, all of that has been affected by a myriad of variables that you have no idea about. And similarly, your viewpoints, your ideals, all of that has been shaped by the myriad of variables that you have been exposed to through your life. So always look at things from the other person's perspective. And when interacting with people in any form, try your very best to focus on them and what they can benefit from you. It's counterintuitive, and it's counter to how we who are engineers and technologists think. But when you're benefit driven, when you're looking at how can I serve this person, how can I be of service and benefit to this person that I'm talking to, it helps us listen better. It helps us try and understand them better, and it helps us align with them and say, hey, I understand what you're feeling like, because in a different scenario I've actually felt this way. Let me help you understand the issue and help you work with that. And that because a lot of the times when, especially in a work situation, when people who are non-technical come to a technical person, they come in feeling inferior to you, like mentally. So, and if you go, oh well, what you've done is wrong, you shouldn't have touched that button, or you shouldn't have done this, that breaks their ego even further. But rather, if you can come beside them and go, okay, I understand what, it's frustrating, I understand you're struggling with this, let me help you. That changes the dynamics of everything. And once that happens, you're in a much better place. You're beside them, on their level, working with them to support them and help them accomplish the results that they want, while getting the results and the kind of outcomes that you want as well. And if you are someone who's shy, introverted and shy are different, but there is a higher likelihood of shyness to show up in people who are introverted. So if you are, one of the books that I read in the early 2000s that helped me a lot is a book called How to Talk to Anyone by Lyle Lowndes. That's LeilLowndes. So I will show I haven't bought it on Kindle, but I actually had the physical book. Ooh, that'll work. There we go. That might work. How to Talk to Anyone. So I'll probably put a link to that in either the YouTube description or in the blog. But it's a really good book on how to hold yourself, how to be authentic, how to be assertive where you need to be, and how to open up conversations, all those sort of things. And look, people who have a tendency to go into like technology and engineering and IT and all that, we have a tendency to not really enjoy small talk, unfortunately. But if we can develop some basic surface level understanding of various areas, it helps us when we meet new people to have some conversation. And like, especially when you're meeting someone for the first time, it doesn't have to be deep conversation. Just have some basic things that you can talk about, and then if you so happen to build a rapport, you'll find commonalities that you can go deeper in later in friendship, work, whatever scenario. But in everything that we do in life, we need to deal with people, And learning to deal with people effectively is one of the big skills that you can learn. And hopefully these pointers would help you, like looking at things from their situation, trying to understand how they reach their conclusions and beliefs, how to focus on them and when interacting, and how you can benefit them when interacting with them, and working on things like shyness and all that with the book are useful things. So hopefully this has helped you out in that process, in helping you deal effectively with people. If you like this video, hit the like button please, and if you liked the content of this channel, please hit subscribe so you will be notified of future videos. And I wish you all the best in your journey as a tech professional, manager and leader. Thank you and have a fantastic day. Talk to you soon. Bye.